So for me, it's definitely involvement. You've got to involve the people. I have the role as culture, but if I can't get everybody else involved, then it's not going to be sustainable. I have a lot of people in the organization that I've actually found by accident as well, who really care as well. And I can connect with some people, but that doesn't mean I can connect with everybody. And I think it's really important to empower those people as well, to make sure that encourage them to come out of their comfort zone and encourage somebody else to do something, because then they'll connect with another 1,000 people that probably don't even want to listen to me. You never know.
I think for safety people is we bring the light, we bring the sparkle, but we share it with the others, and I think we can measure our success by the people who we can ignite with this passion for safety.
Yeah.
If you look at the best cultures, actually, whether it's safety culture or any other culture in an organisation, they are not constantly changing direction.
No.
They've got a good core, stable approach. Things come and go, but when I look back at the organisations that have had great safety cultures, they haven't swung wildly in different plans and different directions. Yeah. It's been a really good planned core approach.
That's so true, because the minute you change, the people just go, another program.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another change.
Exactly.
And it devalues what you're trying to do.
But I think it's also important to every now and then to compliment people. So we have this what we call management meeting. That's twice a year. You have the top 150 people sitting together. I show them a mirror and say, okay, look in the mirror, get into your helicopter, go up and look 5 years or 10 years back. Yeah. So where were we at that time? Yeah. And what kind of improvement did we do? It's also to be proud of. Yeah. And that's not my effort or my safety colleagues' effort, it's their effort. Yes. So they were part of that journey of the development. So I think that compliment and making it visible to people, that's also important to show.
The thing I'd add is having some degree of flexibility, because we're all operating globally, and there are subtleties. Our kind of organisational culture and safety culture is a direct influence of cultures within the countries themselves, and so we do have subtle differences in terms. It tends to be a little more hierarchical if we move into Asia, because that's just the natural culture. Tends to be a little more decentralized if we come into Europe, and actually being comfortable that there are slight variances in that approach, as long as it's not around criticality. It gets managers to buy into it a bit more, and so I think more focused on outcomes rather than the actual process itself.
Yeah,
I think
that's a really great point. Sure. When we try to do our safety framework of behaviours, we rolled it out as we're going to roll it out the same everywhere. And the biggest lesson I learned, and especially doing this whole rollout of Intelex as well, is one message can fit everybody, but one size and way of doing it has to be adapted to the culture, as well, and give that freedom and flexibility of how things will happen, because then they own it. If they don't own it, it's not going to go anywhere.
We organize the CEO Safety Award annually, so it's there is about 200 submissions, but that's where you can see those cultural differences and the proudness of the team, and because we have the safety leader, safety team, and the proudness of people who submit those awards. This is where the appreciation comes to see what people do in India and China and Europe and US.
Our biggest challenge on this kind of centralization versus localization is determining what is what. About 4 years ago, we had a very heavy centralization model that said, one operating model, one method for safety. And fast forward now 4 years, we've deliberately reined back and said, life critical behavioural framework, these pieces are what we really want you to focus on. And actually in this area here that we've no longer going to dictate processes on, we want you to innovate. We need to give people the space and also give them the permission within the system to say, this is exactly where we want you to actually to try different things and to fail in some respects, but fail safely. And also, don't mess with the life critical pieces. For us, actually, making stories, I think, has been really critical. A 1-minute selfie video from one of our employees actually saying what they saw, what they did, it just goes around the organisation so powerfully. So I think when talking about what's in it for them, I think, make it personal and make it as simple as possible. Our employees, they just want to do something that's going to take about 10 seconds.
Yes.
And that's, as long as we keep it simple and we celebrate the good things that they're doing, then we get more engagement.
Well, often the safety function is criticized. You send those alerts every week, you send the emails, you want this from us and this. Sometimes we operate with our own function and we think this, because we are passionate about safety, we think everybody should be passionate. But these people have HR, they have quality, they have sales, they have to, so I think it's also to recognize that we are one of the important elements, cultural elements, the organization, but, focusing on maybe 1-2 things is sometimes better than trying to do 10.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would love that one day, it's not just, we can get to like organizational culture, not just safety culture. I don't know how we turn the tide, but the tide has to change where the word safety is actually seen as an organizational part of the business.
It's positive.
And I think it's getting there. We always have these discussions in our team. Why can't we just say it's organizational culture and this is what organizational culture is made of? And safety is one part of it. And maybe that leaves the road open where we all talk to different departments as well.
I heard once somebody who talks about safety, and they said safety is like riding a bicycle. The moment you stop, you fall.
Yeah.
So I think we all talk about developing and going, into health areas and broader, but there are some basic disciplines of safety.
Yes.
Which we cannot forget and we cannot eliminate.
Yes.
The moment we start to call it an organizational culture, then for a person on the shop floor or in a country where they are in a different context, they still need to understand. I think this is also important for us to keep in mind.
Yeah.